Now, it's quite probable that you've recently done my session on feedback, and if you had, you'd have sort of known that, or if you have, you'll know that we get feedback from participants, from supervisors, from observers, and from self-analysis. But the question we also need to address is, well, how do you get it? What are the methods? And really, I want to talk to you about the 4 methods. The 4 methods, I'm going to show you, as always, lots of coursework examples of how to do this. 4 methods of receiving, what am I doing? Of receiving review. Okay, so these are actually systems that you can use and put into place. So what is the first one? Well, unsurprisingly, the first one is a questionnaire. Okay, literally giving out a questionnaire to people, probably the participants, probably the observers, could be the parents, say, and you ask them a series of questions. And it's really good, this system, because you can develop things like scores, and you can develop things like what I hate this word, by the way. Let me go slowly. Quantitative data. You can, for example, you can ask people to scale a score or to give a yes or no, giving binary information, of course. Now, the second point, or the second method, you might want to consider comment cards. Now, comment cards are particularly useful. I'll show you loads of examples in a second of giving out a comment card to participants and especially observers like parents. Comment cards, it'll be clear when I show you what they are. You also want to think about observation records. Now, observation records are typically a document that someone who's watched your session will give you about what they wrote down and noticed about your session. Take close notice of what's contained in that. A good observer will also take you through and talk to you about it. And that brings me to the last point, which is direct verbal feedback. Now, direct verbal feedback could be from like a coach who's formally observing you. Let me write this down. Direct verbal feedback. But this, of course, could be from a parent who's watching, say. That's also an example. They might just come and chat to you about stuff. So let's have a look at some examples of this. Let's go down. So I spent 10 minutes after my session discussing the strengths and weaknesses of it. It was really useful, and I'd value doing this after every session. So for me, because we've got discussing here, it's direct verbal feedback, isn't it? After reading all of the responses, I made a summary of all the scores. Responses, scores, summary from all the questions, and I found out that my participants want to do more gameplay. So that's clearly to do with questionnaires. Questionnaires, what a spelling, by the way. Double N if you ever know other double letters in there. Questionnaires, double N if you ever want to try and remember it. My supervisor passed me the document at the end of my session. So it's a document, end of the session. It contained a full report on my session. So this is an observation record, isn't it? Okay, observation record. And can you see how the writer here is clearly showing the reader that they received that and they addressed it? It was really useful. I asked for one suggestion from each participant and they recorded it on a card. So this is clearly about comment cards, isn't it, guys? You give those out, the student fills those for you and gives them back. And here's some examples. This is from the kids, bless them, assuming you're coaching children. I really like the sessions. They are fun and I learn lots. Good. I get cold. Oh no, I get cold during the sessions when I wait in line. My best friend is Chloe and we have fun together. That last sentence, just a random thought. But can you see how this is really useful feedback? So this is a comment card. I mean, it literally says it there. But can you see how that relates to almost like the organisation of the session from our qualities that we've looked at? And maybe, this participant needs to break the activity down and have maybe 2 or 3 groups working at the same time. The sessions are really great. Thanks. Sometimes I find that I can't see you when you are showing the skill. Interesting. I like the coloured cones and today I scored a goal. Whoa! So here, this is definitely about organisation, isn't it? And where the person stands when they demonstrate, for example. But you can see how that's a really useful comment card, a method of receiving feedback. And is that my last one? No, 2 more. I like the sessions. I like them a lot. And the coach is really kind. Good. It would be even better if the session started on time and finished on time. My parents think you're great too. So can you see how that's like completion of activities? It goes back to those responsibilities, doesn't it? But clearly from a comment card. And finally, another example. I love these. The sessions are good and I like the coach. Sometimes I want to ask a question but feel like I'm not allowed. This is interesting. So this is about, actually, the feedback here is about approachability. Okay, so a coach can really take that on board and try and encourage questions, for example, do Q&As, for example. But lovely feedback from the comment card. Now, guys, as we've seen there, where are we? 4 methods. Verbal, observation records, literally a document someone who's watched you, gives over to you. Questionnaires, comment cards. Cheers.